Hello and welcome to another Vinny Talks Yanks. I'm your host. That's for you, John. I'm your host, Vincent LaRose, and today, Yankees win on record day. Finally. They only take 1 out of 3 against Philly. Really kind of got embarrassed the first 2 games in in New York against Philly. And this is not going to be a regular video again like last video. It's going to be more of a just a talking point about everything going on. You know, there is a lot going on right now. Obviously, the biggest one we know is the Aaron Judge injury. They talked about it in the pregame today during the rain delay, and so there's a couple interesting things happening. First off, after they announced the Judge injury, they also announced that they trade for Ahmed Rosario for 2 Yankees prospects, one being Clayton Beeter. So we, as Yankee fans, will never see Clayton Beeter again. That's not true. We won't see Clayton Beeter in a Yankees uniform for at least the near future. But, you know, we trade for Ahmed Rosario. We get a good utility guy, another right-handed bat, which we needed desperately. So I'm thinking he's probably going to get the majority start to third on lefty days, and then just bounce around. You might see him tomorrow, maybe in right field. You know, he could play second base too. He's going to just be a guy that's getting at bats, giving some guys some days off. So I'm not against the trade. I like to trade. We didn't really give up much for him. And Clayton Beeter's coming off Tommy John surgery. It was either him or Chase Hampton. Well, I think he's coming off an injury, nevertheless. So, you know, so like I said, obviously, you know, it sucks. We lose Judge for at least 10 days. So it is a right flexor strain in his throwing arm. I'm sorry, not hand. So usually that's the injury you hear with pitchers. That eventually ends up leading to them getting Tommy John. They said there is no damage found in the UCL, in his elbow, of course, but they're still a little bit worried that he will eventually need Tommy John. So I know I saw one page post that they should move him to first base. That is dumb. Just don't do that. I think they're going to hold out until Stanton's up, and then once Stanton we have Stanton for another 2 years after this. I think after those 2 years, you throw Judge back. Judge will be a DH for the rest of his career. But anyways, speaking of Stanton, he stays hot, which is really nice. He gets a homer this series, couple hits. He's hitting in 270 now. He has over 800 OPS, so Stanton's been really good for us. And the big news with Giancarlo Stanton is he's going to start taking reps in right field, because they have announced that when Judge comes back, he's likely not going to be ready to throw the ball yet. So they're going to throw him in, and he's going to be our everyday DH. And then Stanton will get, I'm going to say probably, 4 out of the 7 days a week. So I'm going to assume with Judge being a DH, they're going to give him a couple more days off to let his arm rest. They said he has a little bit of trouble. It's the muscle that the flexor, right flexor, allows you to grip the ball, the bat, whatever. So it doesn't really hurt him as much when he swings. But they're still going to give him days off here and there. So Stanton will be playing right field, which is a little bit scary because Stanton's bat's really nice now. I really don't want to mess with that. Obviously, he's not going to be in right field until Judge comes off the IL. They said 10 to 14 days. Honestly, in my humble opinion, if the Yankees are, I know we haven't been going much, but if the Yankees are going by that 10th day, they've been playing well. I would just give him the extra 4 days at this point. I'd rather him be healthy, and in the playoffs, you're really going to want Judge in right over Stanton. So we'll see how it goes. It's kind of a Bryce Harper scenario a couple years ago, before when he needed Tommy John. I think they're just going to play through it, and if he does eventually need Tommy John, he'll get in the offseason, and then he'll probably... Obviously, he wouldn't play for most of the first half of the season, and then he'd come back in a DH role. I don't see them moving him to first base, though. So I don't know why some people are thinking I doubt that's happening, truthfully. But like I said, we will see. So again, another trade I haven't gotten to talk about on my YouTube videos or my podcast side is the Ryan McMahon trade, which at least in the first 2 games, looks like a great trade. He's absolutely phenomenal defensive third baseman, +4 DRS. DRS, defensive runs, yes, +4 DRS. One of the better defenders, third base defenders in all of baseball. And he can hit a little bit too. I know he comes over hitting 216, but he is already over 220. He got his first hit yesterday, and he had another 2 hits today. A big 2-run double that tied the game in the second inning, and we'd eventually score 4 in that inning. And that would lead us to the 4-3 win, of course. But another good trade and another promising trade. Of course, Judge being injured and Ahmed Rosario being added to the roster today. Somehow, some way, Oswald Peraza somehow, some way he manages to stay on this team. So I think after the trade line, eventually he will get DFA'd. Again, I thought Jorbit had no more options left, but I guess he had one. So I guess he's still in AAA. I thought he had no more. I thought they would have had to DFA him, but I think he's out of options now. So I don't think the Yankees will call him up for the rest of the season. Obviously, as we had 2 more infielders from the trade deadline. But the biggest thing, the huge big thing, we need starting pitching and bullpen help so bad right now. Our pitching is really, during this long extended stretch of bad baseball, the offense was a problem for a week. And then the pitching was good for that week, but then after that week, the pitching has just been plain awful. And the offense has been going. They're still scoring over 5 runs a game. And during the stretch, I think after today's win, we're 16-23 in our last 49 games. So, bad math, 39 games in our last 39 games. Thankfully, Blue Jays lose today as we win, so we're 5.5 out. We still got a long ways to go, but the Red Sox win today. But the Rays are seeming to kind of fall off right now. They've been struggling a lot, so I don't think we'll really have that much of an issue with the wild card. The Central is not good as always, and then we'd have to really worry about the Mariners. But there's 3 wild card spots with the new playoff. Well, not really new. It's the third. This would be the third. Oh, I dropped my ball. 3rd or 4th year they're using it. So yeah. But there's still 3 wild card teams. So we shouldn't have an issue making the playoffs. But we really need to I'm sorry, I'm grabbing my ball. Anyways, we really need to strengthen our pitching. Our pitching has been really bad. Our starting pitching has been awful. The bullpen has had over 7 ERA for the past 2 months now, when they only had a 3.5 ERA for the first 2 months. So they are more than doubled. Obviously, we still have injuries in the bullpen with Leiter and Cruz. Leiter had been struggling before going on the IL though, so I wouldn't be too excited about that coming back. But I think, like I said, the Yankees need one really good strikeout pitcher, and then just another lefty to balance it out a little bit. Tim Hill's really, I know they called up Brent Hedrick today, to add another lefty to the bullpen after sending Efros down. So who knows. So damn, I did it again. But so Yankees really need. I would be a content. Okay, so as we know, July 31st is the trade deadline. We have today's 27th, so 4 days. So you'll be listening to this on the 28th, so 3 days when you're listening to this. I would expect a lot of trades during that the Rays series. We play the Rays for 4 games, so we'll play them until Thursday, and I believe Thursday is the trade deadline. Yes, Thursday is the trade deadline. So, hopefully we can get another good starter, and like I said, we need more bullpen. So, I mean, it's just been it's been tough. Obviously, the Yankees have not played well. I watched Aaron Boone's pre-game interviews today, and he seems to at least be a little bit more aware of the problems going on. Not that he wasn't before. I think he's just more willing to kind of give in a little bit, yes, I know we've been struggling, and I know we have to be better, which is nice. An interesting question by Michael Kay earlier today that I want to talk about. Michael Kay asked him, as the Blue Jays continue, to play really well, and the Yankees are now 6.5 back, do you get worried? Do you get worried that you're not going to be able to win the division anymore and catch up to the Blue Jays? And my thing was like looking at him, his body language kind of thing is like, I know it's yes. I know you're worried a little bit that we're not going to be able to win the division. Granted, I don't think he's worried to the point to where it scares him, because this is still a very good team, and even so many times in the past, wildcard teams win the World Series. It's actually more often wildcard teams win the World Series. Obviously, other than last year. Last year, the two number one seeds went to the World Series. But like the Nationals, I know Houston won a couple times. Obviously, they weren't wild card, but the Nationals won a couple, won being the wild card. Who else won? The Rangers won 2 wild card teams that year. The Rangers against the Diamondbacks, they were 2 wild card teams. So I know the Phillies and the Astros. Oh no, that's wrong. The Phillies that year that the Astros beat them were a wild card team. So. A lot of wildcard teams make the World Series and win the World Series, so I wouldn't be too upset getting that wildcard spot. Obviously, you want to win the division at the end of the day. The AL is really not that good this year, and I think we'll, outside of the Tigers and the Astros, and the Blue Jays, of course. So Blue Jays are playing well. Mariners are good too, but outside of that, the Red Sox are a little bit above average. The Rays are starting to fall below average. The Guardians might, maybe sneak their way in there during the end of the year, but again, we always beat the Guardians. So not too many teams I'm worried about. The Tigers have been sliding lately, so they kind of seem to be falling back to reality after they're basically from last year, like 150 games of just elite baseball they've been playing. So obviously, it's going to happen. We see it happening with the Yankees now. All good teams are going to slide. Even the Dodgers slid pretty bad this year. So it's just, it's a very long season, and it's very hard to stay extremely consistent during the season. Granted, do I wish, a couple of those losses we had out there, we turn those into wins, maybe instead of, 13 and 20 or 15 and 23, we go, like 18 and 20 or something like that, maybe 20. Like 19 and 19 or something like that, just to stay a little bit more consistent, try to, keep ourselves in that first place race in the AL East, but, it's tough. Outside of that, there's really not much to talk about, man. I know a lot of people are still kind of calling for Volpe's head. He seems to be leveling out a little bit. The defense, after trading for McMahon, we haven't had one error. We had one error yesterday. That's not true. But seems a little bit better. Hopefully he continues this way. Like I said, it is going to be a little bit scary to see Stanton out there. They asked Boone today if they thought the elbows would be a problem for him in the outfield. They have no expectations of that. They expect Stanton to be okay in the outfield. As we know, Stanton is no longer. He was in his prime, but he's no longer a primetime right fielder. He has a good arm, but he's gonna make all the routine. The good thing is this: Stanton will make all the routine plays. Any fly ball, he's not gonna drop anything. He's just not gonna get to the balls in the gaps. He's not gonna dive. I don't see him diving. It's just he's just gonna basically be, as we saw today, Kyle Schwarber in the outfield. Routine plays, just getting the ball in, and doing his job in right field, which I'm not too upset with. Especially in Yankee Stadium's right field. Yankee Stadium right field is atrociously small. I think they do play the game of like if we're in Houston, or we're in Boston, or stadiums like that, you throw them into left and probably throw Dominguez into right, or Bellinger into right, or whatever the idea is, whatever the way it goes. Dominguez has been struggling lately, so you probably keep Bellinger in that instance, or give Grish the day off and throw Belly in center. So that's why I love having Bellinger. But there's a lot going on. Obviously, this is still just a precursor talking, because we don't even know what's going to happen in the next couple of days. The Yankees have said they're going to go all in, and they're really going to try to push for a World Series. So I think roster-wise, outside of I can't think, lineup-wise, defensively, I think they're all set. The offense has proven itself. They're one of the better offenses in baseball, and they're among the top 5 in runs scored. I believe they lead in OPS and home runs. I know the batting average is more middle pack, but the offense is good, and I don't think we really need much more for the offense. The only thing that would really get me excited is maybe getting a better shortstop, offensive shortstop. They're not going to do that. We know that. So I think the offensive side is set. We have a really good bench now, which I really like. When Judge comes back, Stanton will probably be on the bench 4 days of that. Maybe about like 60-40, 60 playing, 40 on the bench. But you always have Stanton, Rice, Goldschmidt, Escara. Just a good rotation. Rosario, just a good rotation of guys on the bench. Probably Dominguez. Every once in a while, Bellinger. So have a lot of good pinch hitters later in the game. And I'm really content with our offense. Today they only scored 4. They scored 4 in the second, but that's all they need, and that's why it shows how important good pitching is. Devin Williams was absolutely lights out in the ninth. Tim Hill came in to do his job. Just everybody did their part today, and that's a good win, and that's what we need to keep doing. Truthfully, do I think the Phillies' way they decided to have their outfield and the lineup construction today, did that kind of help us? Probably. That was I know we not swept. I know they were going for the sweep, so they weren't necessarily all in for game 3 for the sweep, which that's probably not true. They probably are, because I know they're in a race with the Mets for first place in their own respective. But it just seemed kind of weird. You had Schwarber in left and Castellanos in right. I know Yankee Stadium is small, but Castellanos misplays a ball. Rojas, their elite defender, actually missed a Stanton single earlier in the game. It was a diving play, but it's a play you'd expect Rojas to make at least. So it's just a good all-around win, and I hope we can continue to stay consistent. I'm happy I can record with a smile on my face. As we know, last video I was pretty pissed off. Ironically, you guys like when I'm pissed off. I guess I get more views when I'm mad than when I'm excited, talking about how the Yankees are going. But hopefully we can get a couple trades in. So a couple guys they've been looking at. Dylan Cease, of course, is one they've been talking about. I don't know if they're still in talks for Gallen after obviously we're not trading for Suarez now, but I don't know if they're still in talks for Gallen. Obviously, Gallen hasn't been great, but it's not a guy I'd be too upset to get. And Sandy Alcantara, I don't know his name because 50-50. Some say Alcantara, some say Alcantara. But they have he was basically told he is getting traded, whether one way or not. There was a report that he already had his things packed, ready to go to be traded, so he's obviously going somewhere. Other guys I wouldn't mind seeing, maybe just giving a call for Pablo Lopez for the Twins, because the Twins suck. Maybe just around baseball. I'm trying to think of some guys we could trade for. The Rockies don't really have anybody. White Sox don't really have anybody. Marlins, maybe Alcantara or Cabrera. Cabrera would be nice. I don't think the Nationals trade any of their guys right now because they're kind of building a core. It's just not not a lot of options out there, and we don't have a lot of prospects that we are willing to give up. Obviously Jones and Lombard Jr. have essentially been said they're untouchable. I know some people have asked about Dominguez, but they said him and Rice they're listening in a sense, but it's probably not going to happen. We'll probably have to give a big haul back that teams aren't willing to give up for those two guys. So we'll see what happens. But that's really all I got, man. So if anything else crazy comes out trade wise, so obviously this is supposed to cover the Philly series. This is more of just talking about all the news going on, because I feel like there's a little bit more to talk about than the Philly series. We all watched it. We sucked, other than Game 3. But we have 4 game set coming up in with the Rays. I'll actually be at the game tomorrow night, which is going to be cool. Try my best to take pictures, whatever. These are free seats, so these seats suck. But I have good seats coming. My next 2 games are going to be pretty nice seats. So I think I'm going to record a little vlog. I don't know yet. We'll see. See what I decide, and depending on the people I'm going with. But outside of that, like I said, we have a 4 game set coming against the Rays. The trade deadline ends after the Rays game, so it's up. I believe they pushed it to 6 p.m. this year, so we'll know we'll know the rest of our team at 6 p.m. on Thursday, right before the fourth game against the Rays. So we shall see what happens. After the Rays, we go to Miami. We have a long stretch here of not terrible teams, but teams I think we should definitely beat. So hopefully they can get it together, especially this is a good stretch to go without Judge. Hopefully, somebody steps up without Judge being there. Somebody, picks themselves up and realize, we need production outside of Aaron Judge, because past 6 years, it's pretty much all we've gotten. So it's not true our offense is great this year, but that's really all I got today. I know it's a little bit of a different video, but trade deadline stuff's going on. A lot of trades are happening, a lot of roster moves. I really wanted to key in on that. Only other thing I really got is we have a couple guys heal. I know it's supposed to make I think he's making one more start in AAA. They were kind of being weird about it, so I don't know if he's gonna just they're gonna throw him straight into a start, or if he's gonna go one more in AAA. I bet they'll bring him up. Sorry. So we got Heel. Cruz is making his way back. Yarborough started throwing again. Yerry De Los Santos came off the IL, so that's actually why they sent Efros down. I wonder who they sent down today for Hedrick. I want to check real quick, just so I'm really aware of the whole roster. Jesus, 30. What's going on? Who did they send down for Hedrick today? I am not 100% sure. The handy dandy MLB app shows you everything. I love the MLB app. They sent down. So Alan Winans, yes, he pitched yesterday, got shelled. So they sent Winans down, and Brent Hedrick. It was Brent Hedrick. So, and like I said, added Rosario to the active roster and placed Judge on the 10-day IL. So yeah, but that's pretty much what we got today. So obviously Yankees picked the win up today. Hopefully they can continue winning. God, they've been so bad they got me stuttering. I'm just kidding. I always stutter. But that's really all I got, guys. So hopefully we can continue to win. Hopefully we pick up some good guys, because my next video probably won't be till Thursday, probably Friday morning. It'll come out talking about the Rays series and our roster, and pretty much my opinion whether this team will be able to win a World Series at that point. But that's all I got. So everybody who watches, listens, thank you. I appreciate it. If you can like my content, it's usually a lot better than this. This is kind of just me talking, but if you like it, and you would feel free to subscribe, like, whatever. I don't care. Whatever you like. I appreciate everything. Any type of support is appreciated here. So that's all I got today. So everybody who listened, thank you. Hope everybody has a wonderful day, morning, night, whatever it is. And of course, go Yankees.